Alright, so this video is going to be a bit of an aside from the modeling and infographic of Minnesota thing. I've got myself into a few different problems here with this current form of Minnesota, and I'm going to go through different ways that you can go about solving them and cleaning up some of the topology in the edge flow. So I think most of these problems I've seen from one or a few of you, they're fairly common to run into. So I'll just take them one at a time and get this cleaned up and looking a little bit better. So the first thing is this area right here where this edge kind of stops, and now we've got a bunch of n-gons. Right? An n-gon again is any face with more than 4 sides. So we've got 6 sides right here. And there's a couple of different ways you can go about solving this. One would be just to get rid of these vertices right here. If I just select the vertex, hit Control, just hit Delete. All right, and they disappear. Now I've got a quad. But if by the time I get all the way up here, I can't just delete this vertex because I've got faces up here. So that's not really the solution for this instance. What I need to do is I need to add edges back in. And so I'm going to show you a modeling tool which I caution the use of because it's very easy to get into trouble with it, because it really lets you just do whatever you want with Edgeflow. And that is the knife tool, or the multi-cut tool. There are 2 separate tools. The knife tool, if you go up to Edit Mesh, and I believe it's Edit Mesh. There's a Mesh Tools. There's 3 different menus, and I never remember where they are specifically. Maybe they got rid of the knife tool, and it's just multi-cut. So with the multi-cut tool, you can really just cut wherever you want. You see it adds vertices wherever you need to. And we say end it, and we hit return, and now I've got this edge exactly where I drew it. Which, again, if you know how you're going to get this clean and work, it's great. But if you don't know exactly, you're just kind of going all willy-nilly, then it can get you in trouble. But in this instance, it also, you notice it snaps to edges and vertices. So if I hover over this vertex up here, it turns red. I'll left click once, and then I can click on down the line on each of my vertices. Okay, and then once I have the edge lined up where I want it, I can hit return, and now those edges are in there. All right, you can see this edge is one that I accidentally added with that multi-cut tool. So I need to get rid of that. And to do that, I need to hit Control Delete, not just regular old delete. So, and I'm hitting the delete that's right underneath the function key next to the end key. Can't remember if that makes a specific difference in Maya or not, but that's the one that I'm hitting. So if your results vary, that might be why. But if I select an edge and just hit delete, it leaves that vertex and it leaves that division in that edge. So this looks like a 4-sided face, but it's actually 6 sides because those vertices are still there. So if I go back, bring that edge back, and hit Control Delete, you can see that those vertices are gone. Okay, so make sure when you want to delete an edge and the vertices, you hit Control Delete, not just regular delete. Okay, the next thing that I want to show is right up here. I've got just way too much geometry going on. All right, I've got a bunch of extra edges that I don't really need. And so certainly one way that you can get rid of them is to go to edge mode, double click an edge, and Control Delete. It gets rid of it. But what if you want to keep this detail? All right, if we really wanted to define this shape right here, but we don't want all these extra edges moving through the rest of our state. Then what we need to do is find a way to combine the edges down here and selectively get rid of them. And so that's where there's 2 different ways you can do this. One way is with the merge or merge to center tool. So if I select 3 edges, or 3 vertices, excuse me, all right, and hit Edit Mesh, Merge to Center. Okay, it's going to move them straight into the center. All right, whatever the center point of those 3 is, it'll bring them together. All right, and I can do that all the way down. Okay, if I do that to the next one, Edit Mesh, Merge to Center. See, now I've got just one edge. You can see how that's going to be simpler all the way down, right? Select those 3 again and merge to center. Okay, so that's working. There's a faster way to do this when it comes to combining vertices. And I don't remember if it's... Oh, it is right. It's the Target Weld tool. It's up here in the tool shelf. You can also access it if you go to the modeling toolkit, which is this icon up in the top right. And you see Target Weld is right there. But all you do here is you just hover over a vertex, left click and drag to whatever you want to merge it into. And I think I had extras selected. Yeah, want to make sure you don't have extra things selected. But you just click and drag and it will snap it right into place. Okay? And then the last thing that we have to do is we've got 2 triangles up here. And again, we want quads. So all you have to do is select the center edge and hit delete. And now we've got a 4-sided face in the center and 2 other 4-sided faces. And oftentimes when I have this kind of diamond quad shape, if it doesn't mess up my edge flow or my topology too much, my surface, I'll select these 2 corners and just kind of pull them back so it's slightly more square-like. Okay, and then I'd even this out too. Okay, so that's how you can kind of selectively reduce geometry. A couple other things here. I accidentally extruded out a triangle, and the way that you accidentally do that, just so you can kind of look out for it, is if you have a vertex selected and you're holding down Shift and hover over one of these move or rotate or scale arrows, you can see it says extrude. So if you just extrude one vertex, it creates triangles from that. So if you're getting some of that popping up, that's probably how it happened. So I'm going to undo out of that. So yeah, right here, that's what happened with this triangle, so I'm just going to delete that face right there. All right, down in here, I believe that's what happened again. And so actually what I'm going to do here, I don't actually remember how I created this whole mess. So instead what I'll do is I'll just delete these faces, and then I'll just select these opposite edges and bridge them. Okay. I don't think that's how I created that. Actually, no, that doesn't work because I've got a 5-sided face right here. So what I need to do is get rid of that vertex and get rid of that vertex and just move that up. All right. Other problem that I wanted to demonstrate is probably the most common way I see people get in trouble with extrusions and hidden geometry is by not undoing an extrude all the way. So if I take this edge right here, and let's say I want to extrude it, so I shift right click and hit extrude edge, and I say, actually let's make the offset like 1, okay, enter. And then I decide I don't want this extrusion and hit Z to undo. I'll click out of that, hit Z to undo. It looks like the extrusion is gone, but if you look down here at the bottom, it says I undo set attribute. So I undid the offset, but that extrusion is still there. So I need to hit undo one more time to where it says undo perform poly extrude. Okay, so now it's undid the extrude action. And now there's not a hidden face there. Okay, and usually what happens is somebody will say extrude, Shift right click, extrude edge, and then they will undo it, and didn't actually undo it, or they'll deselect, they don't see it, and then they'll select the edge again, and they will extrude the edge. Okay, but we've still got this hidden extrusion in there. So now if I'm trying to select a face, or I'll like move a, let's move an edge down. Okay, so now I've got this really weird geometry in here that I don't really know how it got there, or how to fix it. So one way you can fix it without having to just delete everything and re-extrude the whole edge is a tool called Cleanup. So we go to Mesh and Cleanup. We've got a bunch of different options, but if you go down to the Remove Geometry, check Lamina Faces. Those are two faces that occupy the same space. You can see it says Faces Sharing All Edges. Click that. Edges with 0 length, faces with 0 geometry area, and faces with 0 map area. That'll get rid of most of your duplicates. You can adjust the tolerances. So if you have two vertices that are really, really close together, or two edges that are really, really close together, you don't want it to merge those. You may need to bring the tolerance down so that it's only getting rid of the actual duplicate stuff. But you do that, you hit Cleanup, and now this should, yep, there's no more hidden edge there, right? So Cleanup will help quite a bit with that. So those are a few of the ways that you can go through and try to get yourself out of trouble if you find yourself in one of those situations. I'm sure these will come up again through the course of modeling Minnesota and the whole map area, so we'll cover them again, but I just wanted to give you one kind of central video that you go to and refer to if you needed to find any of these tools again.